This is Lindsay with the North End Organic Nursery, and today I want to talk to you all about cover crops. Cover crops are a specific planting of particular species of plants that we will put into the ground either spring, fall, even in the summertime in order to enrich, protect, and improve your soil. Cover crops are also called green manures, and it's a great way that you can grow your own fertilizer and also your own compost. You're actually growing organic matter and adding that to your soil. So when you grow a plant in the soil, depending on the type of plant it is, it has different attributes that it will lend to the soil. With legumes, they will fix nitrogen into the soil, which is a way that they have these rhizobacteria at their root zone, and they will take atmospheric nitrogen and bring it down into the soil, and as they die and decompose, will actually leave that nitrogen for the next generation of plants. Grains are fantastic at building biomass. Biomass is just a term for how much carbon we can get into the ground that will eventually turn into the composty substance that plants like to feed off of and help other nutrients become more available to plants. The third category is broadleaves, and in this category we have specifically brassicas and some turnips and different plants, mustards, that are very helpful to soil in that with radishes that are like the daikon radish, we have a Nitro Radish. It'll drill into the soil. It actually tills into the soil. It's the good fracking. The root goes far down into the ground and can actually mobilize nutrients from down deep. And because it's like a 2-foot taproot at its longest, it'll pull those nutrients up through the root zone. And as it decomposes in the springtime, once you've killed it from the top, it redistributes those nutrients on the levels that your future plants and crops can actually access. They also have a natural biofumigant quality to them. So if you've had disease issues, planting brassicas will really help to disrupt the disease cycles so that you can plant a crop sooner that may have been susceptible to the previous season's disease. A combination of these three types of crops are what goes into our blend here at North End Organic Nursery. We mix a certain blend of grains, legumes, and broadleaves all into a mix that we call our winter soil builder here for Idaho. Once you plant that out, 1 pound will cover about 500 to 1,000 square feet in your garden, and it's very easy to plant. All you need to do is rough up the soil surface, you can till if you like, spread out the seeds, and then cover it back up using the back side of a rake or the front side of a rake so it's just buried underneath the ground. When we have rainy days like we often do in the fall, there's really no need for extra irrigation unless we go through a dry spell, in which case if we don't get rain for 2 or 3 weeks, you might want to add a little bit of moisture. Now some of these seeds will be winter hardy. That means that they're actually hardy to our winter temperatures of 10 below, which we don't always get to that low of a temperature, but just in case we do, they will survive that. Other of these crops are actually not winter hardy and will winter kill. And that means that they'll grow and grow and grow during the fall months, but once they hit a low enough temperature, sometimes that's 0, 10, 20, or just the freezing mark, they will die off, which is nice in the respect that you don't have anything that you need to kill until in the spring, but you don't get that spring growth that you would get out of the winter hardy varieties in the mix. So for the winter hardy varieties in the springtime, people often ask, well, how do I get rid of a cover crop? There's a lot of different ways that you can kill a cover crop. Large-scale farmers will often use a crimper that they drag behind a tractor that literally, as it's being dragged across the field, breaks the neck of the cover crop so that it can no longer send nutrients up the stalk, and then it dies. For us home gardeners, you can either weed whack it down, you can mow it down, you can till it under, you can dig it under, you can just crunch it down flat. There's lots of different ways that you can kill your cover crop. You want to do that about 2 to 4 weeks before you want to plant, and you can either till that into the soil so that you have a clean planting bed, or you can do what like a lot of farmers do. You can lay it down and then just dig a hole and plant right in between the cover crop using that dead and decaying organic matter that has been left on the surface as a naturally occurring mulch. Another important adjunct to doing cover crops is using a legume inoculant. So a good proportion of what's in this cover crop mix is actually legumes. So remember, legumes have the rhizobacteria around their root zone, naturally occurring to some level, that helps to draw nitrogen out of the atmosphere, so you're basically growing your own fertilizer, right? A legume inoculant is that rhizobacteria that you blend with your cover crop mix. So one of these bags will inoculate one of these bags, right? So you inoculate this by putting this into a bowl with a little bit of milk or water just to make it sticky, and you dump the inoculant into here, mix it around before you put it out in your garden. And that helps to initiate the species inoculation on the actual legume seeds, which increases the amount of nitrogen that you can actually grow. It increases the plant's vitality, and this is something that you can also use when you're planting beans and peas and other types of leguminous crops. But using this together with this just soups up the ability of this cover crop to do the best that it can do.